I'm I am a trained climate reality leader as well as the current curator of the Global Shapers Thimphu Hub. This year, to mark the 24 hours of reality, I pledged to do two things. First is to think about how I, in my individual capacity, can address the changing climate. For that, I pledge to adopt a vegetarian diet as well as look into sustainable consumption and to reduce my food waste. The second way is for me to think about how I can really address the larger structural processes to address the changing climate. As somebody working in the government as well as the policy sphere, I truly believe that there is a lot more that can be done in order to convey appreciation of our national, regional and global initiatives to address climate change to the wider public. So I hope to be able to bring policy literacy as well as policy engagement among young people so that they are confident to engage and have a conversation with the important policies that will impact not only their lives but for generations to come.
This is Sonamtashi from the Global Shapers Thimphu Hub. As an individual and a climate reality leader, I'm changing my habits to more sustainable ones, such as walking and biking to work and advocating about climate change. I would like my leaders to implement climate action and not just talk about it or do it on paper. I want my government to switch to all electric vehicles in place of all the fossil fuel-driven vehicles.
I've always been passionate about the environment and the climate, and now more so as a climate reality leader. I've been vegan for over 4 years, and I first went vegan when I learned about how much the food I was eating and the lifestyle I was living was affecting and harming not just the animals but also the environment. Each and every one of us has a part to play, especially when it comes to combating climate change, and our time to act is now. I'd like to urge all the change and policymakers across the world to start taking climate change seriously and to start acting on it seriously. It's time for real climate action.
So as an individual, what I really want to do is be a very responsible consumer. So whatever choices you make it very responsible choices. So whatever you consume, make sure that it is used fully or it is consumed at the maximum level. And also the idea of minimalism, I really feel that whatever you consume, whatever you buy, any products, be it simple, keep it simple. And as a youth, I feel like participating in any activities related to climate campaigns and all. As an individual, I'll take part in this. I've been taking part in such activities. So I want my leaders to be, like climate activists. I know climate change is not faked or not a conspiracy theory. So it is real. So whatever the policies, whatever the action you take, it's the leaders who is going to make a great impact in people's lives. So I feel that the action is needed in a grassroots level. So leaders should take action in grassroots level.
As a Buddhist, I'm very passionate about my cultural heritage, and this has translated to my love and passion for conservation of natural environment. We must acknowledge that the climate change is very real, and we must have this collective agreement and with a shared identity work towards the goal of combating climate change. We cannot afford to maintain a collective silence on this grave concern anymore. As an individual, we must enforce our personal and individual accountability to ensure that our actions do not disrupt the pristine natural environment. It is the small act which drives the biggest change. As a Buddhist, we must recall our moral and fundamental duty to pass along an environment which is good enough for future generations to relish and enjoy. As the climate reality leader, I hope to inspire and encourage dialogues and conversations on climate change and drive a societal movement towards addressing this grave concern. I hope to give the room to the Mother Earth to speak for herself.
As an individual, one of the most smallest but most effective measures I can take is to advocate and create awareness on climate change and to manage my own waste. Vision that I want my future leaders and present leaders to keep in mind is that climate change is a global crisis and that we are all a part of it. So what they can do is to spread awareness and advocacy on every level of the society, from farmers and agriculturalists to government leaders.
Professionally, I am very active in the climate space. I do a lot of climate advocacy and climate education and climate literacy, and I work with a lot of young people as well as policymakers and international community to raise awareness about climate change and its impact on Bhutan. Though we are the only carbon negative country, yet we remain most vulnerable to climate change. Our glaciers are melting fast. They are the source of a river system which is the lifeline of our country. It fuels hydropower, which is the main source of energy and national income. It sustains the lifestyles and the livelihood of majority of our population for smallholding farmers. Earlier this year, it was a national tragedy when we lost 11 highland nomadic yak herders to a very unusual flash floods in the highlands. So to the leaders of the wealthy countries and corporates, your time to shine is now. Step up to the podium of moral leadership. Make your commitments, follow through with action. It's time to get real. Let's get real. Act now.